Hello, it's me.
Hey guys, this is Aditya and I'm back with another episode. Obviously, welcome to the funny podcast. It's real and it's bizarre. Two things that usually don't go hand in hand, but it does. I think over the couple of years, I should have been making my peace with it. So, better late than never, because now I have made my peace with it, and I can say that yes, the reason why I'm making these podcasts is because I am trying to make peace with it and just accept that yes, I have done stupid things or stupid things have happened to me. Yes, it's not completely my fault. Sometimes it's other people's fault as well. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what exactly is my opinion about traveling, because who are we kidding? Traveling is so important because there are just so many experiences out there, so many memories that can be made, and just in general there's just so many things that can be seen. You go out, you every time you go out you can find these memories, these moments where you want to capture them, which probably everyone does these days. They just capture it. They just think that okay, we are out, so let's post a story. Or I don't know what other apps do. I know what Instagram does. So yeah, that's what I'm saying right now. But yeah, every time you go out, you find these memories that you want to capture, and when you do, it's just for the other people to also know. I personally believe that my friends who go out on vacations, I ask them, where have you gone? What were you doing? Things like that. What should be the right time to visit? Is it a good time right now or not? So, yes, I ask them a lot of things, and more or less, these things are primarily focused on how I can travel, how I can go out and explore. Because yes, just like anyone else who would say this, I also love traveling, and vacations are just too good for me as an opportunity, because the opportunity that I'm talking about, it's actually the point where I go out and do everything that I do at home. Because when I go out there, I find these moments that I can go and visit these lakes or these rivers or these beaches, these hills, jaundice, cholera, and I don't do any of it. I just know that मैं घर पे बैठ के भी कुछ नहीं करता, और वेकेशन पे जाके भी मैं कुछ नहीं करता. My process, my itinerary is basically उठो खाओ solo. And yeah, solo is both the type of trip I make and the thing that I do. And over the years, I have traveled, regardless of the fact that yes, I am very lazy at packing, or that I don't want to pack. I pack at the last moment, like 2 hours before the train actually leaves the station. So over the years, I have tried and I've heard this a lot, that the destination does not matter when it comes to traveling. It's always the journey that counts. And something like that also happens when we talk about train journeys or any flight that we take. Obviously, the destination does not matter. It's the journey that does, is regarding your life, but it fits here as well, right? So this particular thought I've heard so many times, that when people try to motivate me to travel more or go on vacations more often, to those people I want to ask, क्यों? ऐसा क्या है ट्रेन में जो होटल में नहीं होता? Why should I enjoy the journey? Why can't I enjoy the destination? मतलब at the end of the day, sorry, not train, ट्रेन खुद हिलती है और बेड को हिलाना पड़ता है. इज दैट द होल पॉइंट? लेकिन ट्रेन में जिस रीज़न से बेड हिलना चाहिए वो तो नहीं हो रहा ना. इट जस्ट गिव्स अस अ थॉट It creates an illusion that yes, things are shaking the way it should have in bed, but no. So yeah, a lot of people talk about this, and for someone like me who has extensively traveled by train, I will just be honest and tell you and that I really really hate it. I a lot. And I hate the families who make picnics out of their train journeys. I mean, how Rajshri could you get? And you shouldn't, because it's train. First of all, चाहे तुम AC में घूमो, sleeper में घूमो, chair car में घूमो, it's a train that keeps on moving. उसका turbulence ज़्यादा है plane से actually. And it's not something to enjoy anyway because you are in a common space. तुम अगर स्लीपर में जा रहे हो तो धूल मिट्टी हवा गर्मी सब है. अगर तुम एसी में जा रहे हो तो जो तुमने फैमिली के लिए पिकनिक का डब्बा खोला है ना, उसकी स्मेल पूरे कंपार्टमेंट में घूमती है. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज योर पर्पस? डू यू वांट अ वेजिटेरियन टू प्यूक ऑन योर चिकन बिरयानी, और डू यू वांट टू... नो, आई वोंट गो देयर. लेट्स जस्ट keep it at that. So I mean, it's very annoying that people try to, show that yes, they are enjoying, they're having a good time. And honestly, in these picnics also, I mean, these train journeys also, I've seen a lot of people who are not even interested. It's just one over enthusiastic person who wants to make it look like the family is too good to be true. So in general, I don't like train journeys, but there's one particular train journey which I considered as the most juvenile thing ever which I have done. And probably this juvenile thing that I'm talking about, it's something that I shouldn't have done, or probably I was thinking that yes, this is my youth and I should have explored it that way, but it was stupid. And it became the worst train journey of my life because I've been in many. I've traveled in trains for like 50-60 hours, one of which is this one. But the time when मेरा एक चप्पल चोरी हुआ था, मतलब चोरी नहीं, someone walked and उनके drift में मेरा चप्पल भी चला गया, and I couldn't find it and I didn't know what to do, so I had to open up my suitcase and get a shoe out of it and arrange it. But that was not even the worst part. The worst one is which I'm going to share with you. So let's go back a couple of years, quite a few years back, and here I was, 18 years old, sitting in my hostel room in peace because I thought that I made a good decision of not going home for Christmas holidays. Now it was a very long holiday, around 10 to 12 days, which Christmas holidays to nahi bol sakte because it's anti-Indian for some people, but people usually call it a winter break, which again is stupid because आधे देश में तो winter आता भी नहीं है. So during this winter break, I was sitting at my room peacefully. मेरा roommate भी घर गया हुआ था, and all of a sudden, I guess it was day 2 of my winter break, and खाना खा के मैं वापस आया सुबह breakfast करके, and I was just looking into my phone and thinking what all should I do. Since there's a break, there are so many relaxations here in the hostel also. I can go out and explore. So that's what I did. Around 11 a.m., I decided, I think it was earlier than 11 a.m., it was around 9:30. I figured out that yes, I should go out and explore. So what I did was I packed up my bag, got a note which is known as the out pass in a hostel, and I left for Nizamuddin railway station because before leaving I had checked that there's a train to my hometown. So probably I was thinking that okay, let's just travel all the way home and surprise everyone. So I went to Nizamuddin, went to the ticket counter and said भुवनेश्वर के लिए जनरल की टिकट चाहिए, and then I said the name of the train, and the person looked at me. He looked at me wearing a Puma Arsenal jersey that probably was around 4 grand back then, 4 or 5 grand, and he was probably thinking that कि ये क्यों जनरल में जा रहा है, and he gave me the ticket. That was the first time I realized that I can go all the way from Nizamuddin to Bhubaneswar in 300 rupees. मतलब नोएडा से निज़ामुद्दीन का कैब मेरा 300 रुपये था. So I took the ticket, went to the waiting room, saw the departure time. It was supposed to be 12:50 p.m. in the afternoon. But if you've caught this particular information in the beginning, that it was during the winter break, and the Delhi winters or winters up north are something that is very predictable, that it's going to fuck up with your train schedule. So that 12:50 train was now showing 2:50 p.m. So I was like, okay, let's wait here in the waiting room for 2 hours and then I can board the train. So I went, I sat there, I heard a lot of commotion, and by 1:30 p.m. the 2:50 had gone into 4:50. And I realized what kind of a mistake I'm going to make if I board that train. I was like, there was some smart person inside my head who was saying that, probably it will be later and it's not going to be a good trip, so let's just go back to the hostel. And when this particular person inside my head was making logic, making sense out of what they're saying, my stupid self went with a hammer and struck him over his head. I waited till 4:50 and by 4:50 it had gone up to 7:50. Now I was getting a little worried that, maybe I shouldn't take it and it's getting late. Plus anyway, the train journey is around 48 hours. So 48 hours in the general coach in itself should have been the first indication that it's stupid. But I waited till 7:50 and now it was at 10:50. So by 7 o'clock, it had become very chilly. Even that overcrowded waiting room was cold. So at 10:50, when the clock did not move any further, I went to the platform. The train had not gotten into the platform, so it was very clear. But I couldn't see anything because of the fog. Now, when this happened, I probably should have guessed that a lot of people don't get train tickets during holidays, and I should have thought this through, that it will be crowded in the general compartment, because not everyone is stupid enough to travel all the way to Bhubaneswar. But yeah, some people will go to Bihar, some people will go get down somewhere in UP. So yes, the general compartment is going to be stuffed. Now that this was probably my first time in a long journey general compartment. So the stupidity that came up here is that the moment the train got onto the platform and people figured out where exactly the general coach is going to land off, there was a flood of people running towards me. They went past me, and now I know that the Indian Railway actually thinks through these things. So what they had done was that they had actually shut the doors from the inside, so that people would not just barge into the compartment. So the Indian Railway had thought this through, but the Indian public thought over this. So what they did was, 3 people, they were flooding towards the door, towards the windows, and they found the emergency exit, shoved their hand inside that window, opened that emergency exit, and then entered. After they entered, they opened the door and they ran as if they were naked and some in the bathroom and someone had rang the doorbell. So they ran and they found themselves some seats and they sat there. I also ran into it, and luckily I found myself my waist width of some space on the in the coach, and I sat down. Now slowly and gradually the train started to get filled, and it kept on filling. Generally, if you go in a third AC train, it will be somewhere around 8 people per compartment. But in general class, that 8 goes up to 18 plus. When that entire compartment was filled, there were people on the floor, there were 3 kids near my feet. I realized how difficult this is going to be, and it is too late because the train had started to move. Now, as it kept on moving, as it went on, I realized one thing, that this place, everyone's eyes are over the seating places. The places where there is an actual seat and that they're not sitting on the floor or just standing there. So at that point, I made the most daring decision of my life. It was a 48-hour train ride, which by now, according to my calculation, had become somewhere near to 60 because of the winter. And for those 60 hours, I decided that I cannot leave this seat for any bathroom breaks. The moment I get up, I lost that seat. So for the next 60 hours, I sat as if I am a cold block of meat and bones. And somehow I managed through. It went and back on the range or the scale of difficulty, because again, another thing that I never presented was that it was winter time in Delhi, which obviously meant that it was also going to be winter time in Bihar. And the Bihar winters were the most gruesome. At night we crossed through Bihar and a lot of people got off. I felt like, okay, now I have some space for like 2.5 seconds, after which it got filled up to like 25 people within my compartment. And I kept on thinking that why did I be so stupid? I mean, like, what kind of an adventure is to hold your own pee and shit inside you for 60 hours with people who stank like shit? Nobody was getting up, nobody was moving. We were all trying to get some body warmth off of each other, which we did not want it, because we were all disgusting. We were sweating, we were feeling cold at the same time, and I don't think I've ever been that miserable. And that was the moment I realized that I don't know why I did this, but somehow I managed. And 60 hours later, somewhere around 8:30 a.m., my train stopped in Bhubaneswar. I got down, and the moment I got down, I actually fell down for a second because my legs were numb. My entire body was numb, for that matter. Sitting in that same position, not moving 1 inch left or right for 60 hours took a toll. That was my fault. But I got down and I realized that how am I going to reach home? I have not said anything to anyone. So I booked a cab, went home. And booking a cab was a very troublesome point because my phone was on 1% battery. I had kept my phone switched off for almost 60 or 70% of the journey. So somehow my phone had 1% or 2% battery, and with that I booked, called the driver, said my phone's gonna die, you need to come to the station as ASAP. I took the cab, went home, opened my door, my mom slapped me, saying, am I stupid to do this? And since I was there was no going back. My dad realized that, okay, this person is really stupid and can do things which he shouldn't. So he booked my return ticket in a second AC Rajdhani. So all in all, a nice journey. I mean, yeah, it was the worst train journey, but it paid well. So that was all about today, and I hope this story was bizarre as I have claimed it to be in the podcast title. If you're listening to me on Spotify or Anchor, please do put up your comments or feedback. If you're listening to me on any other podcasting platform, my Instagram handle is there on my bio of the podcast description. Just drop me in a message if you liked it. This particular podcast was brought to you with support of the Podcast Lab by India Film Project and Anchor by Spotify. So this was Aditya. Thank you so much for listening to me. I'll be back soon. Bye-bye.